All right, let's get started in your seated position. And in the inhale, reaching your arms up above. And then let's bring that left arm down. Right arm comes over the head. Making sure that we're keeping both sits bones on the ground. And inhale, we'll just reach to the other side. Feeling a nice stretch along that left side of your body. Great, and then we'll come back to center and we'll do a seated cat-cow. So looking up, inhale, exhale, curling your body in, inhale looking up, and exhale, in, inhale looking up, giving a nice stretch to that neck, and then we'll do some seated spinal twist, just getting some movement in that lower body there. Just doing whatever feels good. There's no right or wrong way to it. Just rotate to one side and then to the other. Great. Warming up those hips. And then coming back to center. And then we'll come into a tabletop position. And then we'll come back into a child's pose. So you can either keep your knees together or you can spread your knees wide and do a wide-legged child's pose. And this is a good time to really set the intention for your practice. So let's come around and just do some hip circles. And really just do whatever feels good in your body at this moment. If you feel some tightness in your hips, just really stretching through that, or maybe it's your upper body. And then when you're finished with that, just come back into a child's pose and come back to that intention, and whatever word comes to you, maybe it's peace, presence, letting go. Keep that with you throughout the yoga practice. And then we'll just do a thread the needle. So we're going to bring that left arm through. You can either keep your right arm down, or you can lift it up, or tuck it under your left hip. Whatever feels good for you, whatever the level that you're at, whatever's feeling good in your body. So let's just hold this and take some nice deep breaths into those lower lungs. Just feeling a nice stretch here in that upper body. And then we'll come back up, and then we'll switch to the other side. Right arm comes through. You can either stretch that left arm out in front of you, or you can move that left arm straight up, pointing towards the sky, looking up towards the sky. Taking some nice deep breaths here. Great. You're doing good. Couple more breaths here. And then we'll come back into that tabletop position and into our first downward facing dog. And as we come into our first down dog, you can pedal it out, bending your knees, If you need to keep bending your knees, go ahead and do that, whatever works for you. And really pressing into the palms of your hands. Great. Pressing those heels back if it allows. And then we're just going to slowly walk to the top of the mat into our standing forward folds. Great, and we just bend our knees here as we kind of get acquainted with this stretch, really feeling it. A nice release in the hamstrings and our calves. Just kind of warming the body up for our practice. And then we can slowly inhale, reaching up to the sky. Hands come to the heart. And inhaling, reaching up, and exhale, diving down to the mat. And inhale halfway. And then exhale, coming back into our Chaturanga. And if need be, you can come onto your knees. Exhaling down and inhaling up. And then exhale, back down into down dog. Really pressing down through those hands. Bending the knees if need be. And then we'll come back up into the front of the mat. And let's repeat this one more time just to get our body nice and warmed up. So inhale, coming up. Exhale, hands to heart. And inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, diving down to the mat. Inhale halfway. And exhale down. And then coming back into our Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Great. And then we'll just lift that right leg up into three-legged dog, bringing that knee to your elbow. We're going to do this about 4 times. So inhale up and then exhale, coming forward. If you need to slow it down, do whatever works best for you. I think we're doing this 6 times here. If you need to do it 4, perfectly fine. And then bending that knee, bringing it to the top of the mat. And then we'll just come into our high lunge pose. If you need to plant that heel on the mat, that works as well. Otherwise, you can challenge yourself and put your ball of your foot, the back of your foot down on the mat there. Okay, so now we're coming into a warrior 2. We're just moving deeper into a balance pose. And then into a reverse warrior. Really stretching that left arm back, looking up into the sky. And then we'll move right into our extended side angle pose. Bringing that right forearm to the knee, making sure we're pushing up out of that shoulder. We're not sinking into that shoulder. While that left arm comes overhead. Great. And then we'll just cartwheel, coming back into a Chaturanga. We'll do a flow here. Inhaling, upward facing dog. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Great. And then we'll bring that left leg up, just repeating the sequence. That left leg comes into that elbow. Inhale up, and then exhale. Inhale, and exhale. Inhale. And then bending that knee, bringing that foot to the top of the mat into our high lunge pose. Really feeling strong through that low body, engaging the quad muscle. And then we're into Warrior 2. Staying strong in that low body, really engaging, making sure our quad is strong and our knee is at a 90-degree angle. And then we're reaching that right arm at the back of that leg for Reverse Warrior. Looking up at the sky. Great. And then we will just bending that left knee again and coming into Reverse Triangle Pose, or Side Angle Pose rather. And that right arm comes overhead. The left elbow can come on that left knee. And just making sure we're not sinking into that left elbow. Great. And then we will cartwheel our arms back to the mat. And back into a Chaturanga. Inhale, looking up, and then exhale, downward facing dog. Great, you're doing great so far. So we're going to come back to the top of our mat. Inhale, halfway, exhale, and then inhale, looking up to the sky. Exhale, hands to heart. We'll just do a flow here. Inhale and exhale, forward fold. Inhale halfway. And then exhale. Back into a plank, Chaturanga. Inhale, looking up. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Great. And next we're going to bring that right leg up to the sky. Bending the knee and bringing it forward, planting the foot in between the hands. That left knee comes to the mat, and then we're just do an intense stretch forward. So a half split here. We're just going to bend the knee looking forward, and then exhale, stretch. Inhale, bend the knee looking forward, and then exhale, come back into that intense stretch forward. We're really trying to bring the chest to the leg here instead of the forehead. So just work at your own pace. Just really breathing into this. You can flex that foot more up to the sky for a deeper stretch. Or you can just keep those toes down. Right, and just taking some nice deep breaths here. Then we'll lift that left leg up and we're going to come into a revolved triangle pose. So that left foot is pointing out to the corner of your left mat. We're planting the left hand down and we're reaching that right arm up. You can also place a block under your left hand. This standing pose is a deep detoxifying one. So it's squeezing our abdomen like a wet towel and is super effective for stimulating our stomach and colon. It's a difficult pose, but it has so many benefits. And then what we're going to do is balance on that right leg and then come into a half moon pose. So that right leg comes on, that right hand comes on the mat. And you can also use a block under this right hand as well. And that left arm comes up to the sky. Another intense balancing pose. just helping to increase circulation. And then we'll come into a Warrior 3 pose. You can also place your hands out along, touching a wall or a chair if you need help in balancing with that pose as well. So let's flow it out. Inhale, reaching up, exhale, coming down. Inhale, halfway, and then exhale. Chaturanga, inhale, looking up, and then exhale into downward facing dog. Great, just take a couple of breaths here, then reaching that left leg to the top of your mat, bending that right knee, and we're just going to give a stretch here to that hamstring and calf again, and then bending the knee, looking forward into a low lunge, and then reaching back into an intense stretch. Inhale, looking up, and then exhale, reaching back. And then we'll just stay here, letting our body release into this hamstring and calf stretch. Just taking some nice deep breaths into this. Great, you're doing good. And then we will straighten that right leg. And then we're going to come into that Revolved triangle pose. Right arm comes down on the mat. You can use a block again. And left arm comes up to the sky. And you might just find that one side is easier or more flexible than the other. Just taking some nice inhales and exhales into this challenging pose. Great, and then we'll come back into a half moon pose. Bouncing on that left leg, left arm comes to the mat, reaching the right arm up. And if you lose your balance, it's okay, just come back into it. What we're trying to do is stack our hips on top of each other here. Lovely. Breathing in and out. And then we're going to come into a balancing pose, which requires a lot of concentration. Our Warrior 3. Again, you can use a wall, stretching your arms out in front of you, or a chair. Great work. Okay, let's flow it out. Inhale, hands to heart. And inhale again, diving forward. Exhale, inhale halfway, and exhale coming back into Chaturanga. And inhale up, and exhale, downward facing dog. Great, and just take a few moments to recenter yourself here. And then we'll just hop to the front of the mat and we'll go into a balancing boat pose, just strengthening our core, activating those abs. Great, and next what we'll do is rolling like a ball. So we'll hold on to the knees here, and then we're going to balance on that tailbone as we come up. So our feet don't touch the mat, We inhale, come back, and exhale up. Inhale, come back, and exhale up. Great. And then we're just going to come back onto our mat with our backs flat on the mat. And we're going to go into a plow pose here. So we're going to lift our legs up over our head. If you're not able to get your toes to touch the floor, you could put it on a mat. You could use the wall. So if you need to pause and get adjusted, feel free to do so. And then we're just going to be holding our low backs here. Or you can reach your arms out in front of you, whatever's comfortable, but just making sure we're not clenching our jaws here. And then a little bit of a shoulder stand, reaching our feet out, trying to come to a straight line here. That is the goal. And then we'll bend our knees and then slowly roll down, planting our feet on the mat. And let's just do some windshield wipers to release some of the tension in our low back here. And then we're going to lift our glutes up here into a bridge pose. So we're going to squeeze through our glutes, lift as high as we can. Take an inhale and an exhale, and then slowly lower down one vertebra at a time. And then we will bring that right knee into the chest, bring it across the body, but we want to make sure that our right shoulder blade is staying on the mat. We don't want to over twist and injure our spine here. And that right arm is extended out to the side. Just taking some nice deep breaths here. And then we'll just switch to the other side. That left leg comes in and we're twisting. Left arm comes out. And we're just looking out at that left arm. Just giving our body a nice internal massage here. Releasing tension in the low back. Great. And then we'll just bring both knees into our chest. Give yourself a little hug. And then we will relax into our final pose, the corpse pose. So just make yourself comfortable on your back. Take a few deep inhalations and some long exhalations. And just notice the breath moving in and out of your body. Just to let your breath follow its natural cycle, not trying to control it at all, but just being aware of it. Just trusting the ground beneath you, knowing that you're in a safe place. Lying here, you cannot fall, and nothing bad can happen to you. So just let go completely of any tension left into your body, giving in to gravity. And whenever you're ready, you can pause and stay in Shavasana, or you can meet me in the middle of your mat here in a seated position. And inhale, reaching up, exhale, and one more time, inhale and exhale. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me today.